Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome and good evening to all the viewers of Facebook of Purnam Ecovision Foundation page. And today is our 41st webinar, which will be in English. Today's topic is biodiversity of Western Ghats of India and biodiversity register. So today we have Amruta Zoglekar ma'am with us for this topic to discuss on. I shall introduce you all to her. Amruta Zoglekar ma'am has done Master of Science and completed from University of Pune in 2008. She has done Bachelor of Science in Industrial Microbiology and completed from University of Pune. She is pursuing PhD in Environmental Sciences. She has qualified GATE examination in Ecology and Evolution with All Rank India 43. Research work experience. She has worked as a project assistant on Western Ghats of Ecology expert panel formed by Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India, and chaired by Professor Madhav Gadgil. She has mainly worked on different case studies involving various development projects of Maharashtra segment of Western Ghats. So in 2008 to 2012, she has worked on different project research projects such as Junior Research Fellow, Project Assistant, Research Associate, Project Associate with renowned research institutes like Center of Ecological Science, IISc, Bangalore, College of Forestry, and Abasaheb Garware College in Pune. So her research work mainly covers forest ecology, human-forest interrelations, Western Ghats for forest, and studying its ecological sensitivity, community participation in forest conservation, data compilation in a scientific way, natural resource management, and sustainable development in tribal area with the people's participation. So she is recently doing consultancy work. So her experience is in working as a plant expert, biodiversity expert, ecology expert, database manager for different private and commercial townships and farm development projects for NGOs or companies. So the grants or awards which she has received are, she has been selected as Darwin Scholar among 35 available seats which were applied by many applicants all over the world, conducted under International Darwin Scholarship Program by Field Studies Council on the occasion of 200th birth celebration of Charles Darwin in United Kingdom. Secondly, she has successfully completed lead author training course of ISO 14001-2001 standard in environment management system, that is EMS, certified by International Register of Certified Authors. So there are many research publications which she has done. Firstly, implications for biodiversity management along with Advalkar, Zoglekar, that is she, Maskar sir, Patwardhan, and this has been on woody species diversity from proposed ecological sensitive area of northern Western Ghats. Secondly, she has done with the same authors as well as Savan sir, Ganesh Shah, and Patwardhan sir. So tree species composition in Koina Wildlife Sanctuary, Northern Western Ghats of India, that is current science. So the books and chapters in which she has given her contribution are underutilized and underexplored horticulture crops, and she has been a contributor to Nothapodites pneumonia nursery technique manual in Marathi language. So her teaching and training organizing experience has been as she has worked as a guest lecturer and research project coordinator in Abasaheb Garware College. She gives lectures on biogeography and human ecology. She has guided master students for their MSc research projects. She has organized committee, she is an organizing committee member of National Conference on Biodiversity Assessment, Conservation and Utilization held at Abasaheb Garware College in Pune. She has attended various workshops on application of RS and GIS in natural resource conducted by different research institutes from all over India. And she has conducted workshops on home herbal garden under Vayam Trust for city women in Pune. So These are some of the activities and her work done in this field, and that is why today she is with us for this session. So as I mentioned earlier, today's session is on biodiversity of Western Ghats and biodiversity register, that is legal compliance and its associated work. So let us all welcome Amruta ma'am. Hello ma'am, and thank you for associating with Purnam Ecovision Foundation.
Hello, Tanvi.
Welcome ma'am. We shall start with the session.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
Okay, shall we start?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am here to talk about biodiversity of Western Ghats, and I will briefly introduce you to biodiversity register. Basically, this presentation is prepared by me and my colleague Medhavi. We are working in northern Western Ghats of Maharashtra since 12 years. We are living in India. India is also known for its cultural diversity as well as biological diversity. All cultures, different type of traditions are living in harmony with each other. All believes that these are five primary elements of life: water, jala, air, that is vayu, hawa, earth, bhu, land, fire, that is agni, teja, and space, antariksha, akash. So, with due respect to all these traditions and cultures, I am starting this presentation on biodiversity of Western Ghats, and I will briefly introduce you to biodiversity register process. So, what is biodiversity? So, in very simple terms, you can call it as it is a study of biological elements, biotic elements like plants, animals, microorganisms. But I want to add something into this. This biological diversity, it is nurtured in the presence of physical factors and different kind of abiotic factors. Biological study should be done in two dimensions, that is spatial and temporal. You have to consider all type of physical factors, all type of abiotic factors in your surrounding when you are studying any kind of plant species, animal species, and microorganism. Water, as you know, it is very much important and primary element of life. You have to consider water availability when you are studying biodiversity. You have to look for the all kind of soils, like whether it is red soil, whether it is black soil, whether it is loamy soil, whether it is lateritic soil. There are different types of soils one can get in Indian subcontinent. Temperature, yes, it is also important abiotic factor because it decides what kind of species composition you will see in a given forest community or in a given space at a given time. Wind velocity, wind direction also plays very important role in plant life cycle, animal reproductive life cycle. Humidity, yes, it is also important. So there are many different physical factors which are important when you are studying biological diversity. So don't consider that if you don't know what kind of species is there, or like you don't know 400 names of birds. It's okay if you don't know, you can study, but one must know that it is more than that. You should consider physical factors, abiotic factors, along with biotic elements and along with identification of all kind of animals, plants, and microorganisms. So basically, it is very, very essential to study ecosystem as a whole when you are looking for biodiversity in your surrounding. Now I will talk about biodiversity of Western Ghats. So by name, you can get an idea. Yes, it is located somewhere on western side. Yes, It is located on the western side of peninsular India. It runs exactly parallel to the western coast of India. It extends uh, from Tapi River Basin in the north and Kanyakumari in the south, which is approximately from 8 degree to 21 degree. And longitudinal expansion is from 72 degree to 78 degree. So if you look at the peninsular India map, major rivers are traveling from west direction to the east direction. There are very few rivers which travels from the east to west, and Tapi is one of that river. And this Western Ghats starts in the Tapi River basin in very nearby to the Gujarat state. End-to-end length of Western Ghats, it is approximately 1500 kilometer to 1600 kilometer. It traverses the states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. Approximate area of Western Ghats is around 140,000 square kilometer to 160,000 square kilometer. It contributes to 6% of land area of India. Rainfall of Western Ghats varies from 500 millimeter to 8,000 millimeter. It also decreases from southern part of Western Ghats to the northern part of Western Ghats. It also rainfall decreases from western spurs of Western Ghats to the eastern spurs of Western Ghats. Many ecologists divides this Western Ghats into two major area, that is northern parts of Western Ghats and southern parts of Western Ghats. Some scientists also divides Western Ghats into three parts, like northern Western Ghats, that is NWG, central Western Ghats, and southern Western Ghats. This is a mountain chain older than Himalayas, and it is popularly known as Sahyadri in Maharashtra and as well as in Karnataka. It is also known as Paschim Ghat. It is a best representatives of non-equatorial tropical evergreen forest in the world. It is also known as water tower of peninsular India. Many major rivers in peninsular India shows its origin in Western Ghats ranges. Krishna shows its origin near Nashik. Krishna shows its origin in Satara district. Godavari is in Nashik, nearby Nashik city, and Kaveri shows its origin in mountain regions of Karnataka. Western Ghats cities also shows cultural diversity. Many social groups are living in Western Ghats. We still have communities like PVTG communities, that is particularly vulnerable tribal groups, which are still living in Western Ghats ranges. There are many communities are still dependent on NTFPs, that is non-timber forest producers, for livelihood. There are many religious groups which are living in Western Ghats and linguistic groups. With this kind of diversity, with this kind of biological diversity, geographical diversity, topographical diversity, it is recognized as one of the world's 8 hottest hotspots of biological diversity, along with Sri Lanka. The traditional agriculture field which you will get in Western Ghats are mainly paddy fields. In Western Ghats, you can also have all seasons rice. So there are some there are some villages in Sindhudurga district. When you talk about Maharashtra, in Sindhudurga district, you will have some villages which harvest rice in the summer season, in the March and April month. So that is also known as Vayangani Bhat.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there was disturbance in between, so we missed the last two sentences you've said. So can you
Oh,
please repeat it?
yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. with this kind of diversity, Western Ghats is listed as world's 8 hottest hotspots of biological diversity, along with Sri Lanka. If you look at the agriculture diversity of Western Ghats, traditional agriculture fields of Western Ghats, paddy cultivation is the traditional agriculture, which you can see in the Western Ghats. There are many rice varieties from Western Ghats, and you can have paddy cultivation in summer season also. So if you look at the Maharashtra, in Sindhudurga district, you have summer rice, that is Vayangani Bhat, Unhali Bhat, and you can harvest this rice in month of March and April. Shall we proceed? I think I will proceed. I think there is no problem now.
Yes.
Okay. These are some charismatic animals and this is floral and faunal wealth of Western Ghats. If you look at this looks like goat. It is called as Nilgiri Tar. It is endemic to Western Ghats. So, what is endemic, and how one can say yes, this animal or this plant is endemic to Western Ghats? In simple terms, you can call a species as endemic if its natural population is restricted to a given ecoregion. In this case, it is Western Ghats. You can see this beautiful animal in Nilgiri Hills, in Augustamalai Hills, and many hill ranges in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala, and border area basically. This is Liontail macaque. This is also endemic to Western Ghats. You can see its distribution in southern Western Ghats. This is great hornbill. This is very interesting bird. It plays very important role in the dispersal of many canopy tree species of Western Ghats. So this is one of that species, Diazoxanus species. This is very important food for this guy. Um, this is king cobra. You must have seen this snake in many documentaries, animal documentaries on TV channels. This is only snake species which builds nest for its young ones. This is pangolin. In Marathi, it is Khawle Manzar. So it is a true scale mammal, and it is in recent past or in last 1 year or 2 years, it is highly discussed animal, unfortunately, for its trafficking and its poaching problems. So it is believed that these scales of this animal are used in traditional ancient Asian medicinal practices. Many organizations are working for conservation of this Khawle Manzar or pangolin. In Chiprun area, that is Ratnagiri district of Maharashtra, there is one organization, Sahyadri Nisarga Mitra. They are working in generating awareness among local peoples about this animal. And they have started a very interesting festival, that is Khawlotsav. Khawle Manzar, that's why it is Khawlotsav. This is some interesting statistics about Western Ghats. So look at the percentage of endemism. Okay, in Marathi, this endemic species can be called as Pradeshanishtha species. So we have 56% of endemic plants or endemic trees to the Western Ghats. We have about 78% of amphibians endemic to Western Ghats. Amphibians are like frog species, बेडूक ज्याला आपण म्हणतो, बेडूक वर्गातले प्राणी. We have 40% of odonids, that is dragonflies and damselflies, endemic to Western Ghats. Okay, we also have many rare and threatened species which belongs to Western Ghats. So this basically enlisted in a red list prepared by International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN. This is formed somewhere, I think, around 1948, and this is, you can say, as a first global environmental union, which is formed to protect nature, and which has a very larger goal. So, if you look at the Western Ghats threatened species statistics, we have around 325 species of flora and fauna belongs to IUCN status, that is vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered. So, Western Ghats harbors many endemic species and as well as many threatened species. So it is very important ecoregion of India. If you look at the vegetation types of Western Ghats, many scientists have classified forest of Western Ghats based on plant species composition, based on abiotic factors, based on like rainfall, precipitation, also temperature. So they have used many factors, and but for our purpose, or for generally, you can classify Western Ghats into this kind of vegetation types, like evergreen forest, semi-evergreen forest, semi-close evergreen forest, moist deciduous forest, and open forest, like, or maybe you can call it as a scrub area or scrub forest. But there are different terms used by scientists, like a wet tropical evergreen forest, broad-leaved tropical evergreen forest. But we are not going into details of that. We'll just go through general habitats of Western Ghats. So if you look at this picture, this is a typical picture of evergreen forest of southern Western Ghats. This is Shola forest, and this is one of the threatened habitat of southern Western Ghats, or you can say Western Ghats. But you can mainly see this kind of habitat in southern parts of Western Ghats. This is a combination of forest and grassland. People are still working on how this is formed, what and yet they there are many theories, like whether it is due to climate, whether it is due to anthropogenic activity. So works is still going on. This is Myristica swamp. This is one kind of habitat you can get in Uttara Kannada districts and Kerala. You can see sorry you can see perennial streams flowing through this swamp forest, and this is freshwater swamp forest, and majority of species are from Myristicaceae family. And one interesting fact is that it is believed that, or people still working on this, uh, it is a very good forest where you can sequester carbon compared to non-swamp forest or non-swampy forest. Okay, above ground biomass is very high in Myristica swamps. Recently, researchers discovered Myristica swamps in Sindhudurga district. This is typical picture of northern Western Ghats. Here you have stunted evergreen forest or stunted trees on the plateau area, and you have a tall evergreen forest species member in slopes and valleys. This is a riparian habitat. This is moist deciduous forest type, and you can see such kind of forest when you are traveling from Pune to Raigad via Tamini. So typical members are Terminalia members, that is Ain, Kinzal, like that. This is open forest. As a landscape element, you can call it as an open forest, and as a forest type, you can call it as a scrub forest. This kind of forest you can see when you are traveling from Pune to, say, maybe Fulton area. Okay, so you can see proper gradient, like from deciduous forest to this kind of open area. This is very, very interesting habitat which we are having in Maharashtra. You can get such kind of habitat till 18 degree of north. This is called as lateritic plateaus. You can see such plateaus in Satara district, Pune district. So Khas is one of the famous lateritic plateau. Okay, there is one interesting story. This lateritic plateau shows ephemeral flush vegetations. So you will have colorful wildflowers on lateritic plateau in rainy season. Also in October, like in post monsoon season, you can have a yellow color flowers growing on the plateau. But in summer and winter, you can see grass species on such kind of lateritic plateaus. Unfortunately, people are saying that it is because they are not seeing any kind of green cover on such kind of plateaus. They are calling it as a barren land or wasteland, which is very, very wrong. So during my work in Western Ghat Ecology Expert Panel, we visited different developmental projects in Konkan. Unfortunately, development project managers presented such kind of habitats as a wasteland. So please, please, please do not call Lateritic Plateau as wasteland or barren land. It is an important and critical and threatened habitat of Western Ghats. You can get a typical floral and faunal members which are restricted to only plateaus. And if you look at the human use, you will get a number of grass species for your livestock. So please don't call it as a wasteland or barren land. It is a very wonderful habitat. So these are some plant species. If you look at this silver spike coxcomb, which is in Marathi, it is called as kurdu. This plant you will get in maybe I think it you can see such kind of growth of this plant after harvesting paddy and from abundant field, and you can also see this plant on farm birds. This is very important wild edible plant. This is Palus, that is Palus Butea monosperma species. These are some interesting insectivorous plants. This is Utricularia species. Every insectivorous plants has its own way to trap insects, to trap any kind of animals as a food. So this Utricularia species has bladder-like structure, and it traps small animals from wet soil like protozoan and rotifers. Drosera burmani, Drosera indica, these are from Drosera genus, and it is commonly known as sundew plants. They have its own traps for insects. Butterflies are also important animal group, and which shows complete metamorphosis from egg to these colorful adults. So complete metamorphosis means it shows egg formation, then larval development, then pupa, and then adult. So this is glassy tiger caterpillar, which is feeding on rui, that is Calotropis procera. I think it is Gigantia on which it is feeding. If you look at the Indian culture, everything is linked. So this rui is also important in our traditions. We offer this rui leaves to Hanuman. This is bird diversity. I will talk about this bird. This is red-wattled lapwing, or you can call it as a titvi. There are different ways in Indian tradition where you can predict monsoon, where you can predict rainfall based on behaviors of animals, based on flowering and fruiting pattern of plants, and based on colors in the sky. So there is one method of predicting monsoon or predicting rainfall in a coming season. If you see nest of this bird in streams, in dried streams, dried river, then you can predict that you are not having good rainfall in coming season. But if you are seeing nest of this animal away from the stream bank or on some hillock nearby to the river, then you can say yes, we are having good monsoon or good rainfall in coming season. This is Indian. Okay, if you look at the above picture, this is Indian pitta. In Marathi it is called as Navarangya. Navarangya means 9 colors. Excuse me. So this is important mammal diversity of Western Ghats. So this bat, we are talking about these bats in last 2 years. This is giant squirrel, and this is state animal of Maharashtra. Amphibians and reptiles. So this is very interesting part. Bamboo pit viper, which is you can get in even Simvagar Valley. This bamboo pit viper is one of the venomous snake you can get in Maharashtra. Um, okay, now you look at this picture. If you look at closely, it is like a foam-like structure which you are getting on leaf. Okay, this is not actually a foam. This is a foam nest made by Rhacoporus or Malabar gliding frog species, which is a arboreal frog species. These foam nests are created by this frog. Once tadpoles start its activity, it gets dropped. Whole foam nest get drops into the water body under the tree or any other tree branches. And then tadpoles survive in the water body. So if you look at this animal, this is a fungoid frog, and this is a very good indicator of habitat. This is wine snake, that is heron toad. This is Deccan gecko. Okay, so now briefly we looked at the floral and faunal diversity of Western Ghats. Now we'll look for the natural protection which animals and plants are showing to protect themselves from enemy, from predators. This is lemon pansy butterfly. Look at the structure. So these eyes are like saying, "Don't touch me." So they are like keeping their predators away by such kind of design on their body. This is one kind of grasshopper family member, and it exactly looks like a leaf. This is Khats kuili, or in Konkan it is called as a kuili. And if you touch these pods, you will get skin irritation as a gift. This is Siba, Bombax Siba stem. Look at the thorns. This is caterpillar. One should not dare to touch caterpillar. Perfect example of camouflage. It is very, very difficult to identify a stem from the insect. These are different types of natural protection. Also, we have a very good kind of interaction between plant and animals. So they are totally interdependent. So if animals are getting food from plants, plants will ensure that it will also work as a pollinator or dispersal agent for themselves. So this is ants visiting impatiens, that is Terda In Marathi, it is called as terda. This is a fly which is visiting Mapia fetida or Nothapodites pneumoniana plant, which is a commercially important medicinal plant species. This you can get in northern Western Ghats and throughout Western Ghats basically. So this is feeding on nectar of Mapia. Fly is feeding on nectar of Mapia. We are not sure whether it acts as a pollinator or not. So with this kind of diversity, people are aware of diversity of natural resources in surrounding. They know the importance of diversity of natural resources in surroundings since ages, since hundreds of years. So we have different kind of conservation of, models, which are informal way of conservation, and it is still in a present condition. We can still have such kind of conservation models like sacred groves, and people are practicing such kind of conservation methods since hundreds of years. So sacred grove, it is very interesting to study sacred groves. They have their own rules, like about collection of real wood, about collection of medicinal plants, about hunting, about collection of honey, about collection of tadi. So they have their own rules and regulation. Local community which is living nearby to sacred groves have hold on this sacred grove management. This is a sacred pond. Picture is taken from Sacred Grove in, I think it is from Sindhudurga district. Also, in India, we have formal conservation models like wildlife sanctuary, national park, tiger reserve, biosphere reserve. But many times, people are not allowed for living in these places. But in case of sacred groves, people can live nearby, and they can visit such kind of conservation models. So that is the major difference. Recently, not recently exactly, some few years back, UNESCO has declared Western Ghats as a World Heritage. So for biodiversity conservation, people are working on national platform. People are working on local level, like conducting a sacred grow model. People are also working on international platforms. So we have the Convention on Biological Diversity, and recently we celebrated Decade on Biodiversity from 2011 to 2020. Objectives are mainly conservation of biological diversity, sustainable use of components of biological diversity, fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the utilization of genetic resources. So these are the objectives. The United Nations also have Aichi biodiversity targets, which integrates biodiversity with social and economic drive. We also have some international platforms like United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. So right now we are having this decade, and you will get opportunity to restore your ecosystem. In 2015, we also come up with the Sustainable Development Goals, and these are two main goals which focused on protecting the natural resources below the water. It also includes marine biodiversity conservation program, life on the land. Here, they are focusing on terrestrial ecosystem, protecting the terrestrial ecosystem, and having sustainable use programs for natural resources, which one can found on uh, on land. So now I will start giving you some introduction to biodiversity register. So till this point, we just briefly gone through the biodiversity of Western Ghats and what kind of conservation models we are having at local, national, and international level. So after becoming party with CBD, that is Convention on Biological Diversity, in 1992, India came up with the very good act in 2002, like after 10 years. This act is popularly or actually legally known as a Biological Diversity Act 2002. It has its own rules and it is formed in 2004. So, biological diversity rules are from 2004. Okay. So first, what I will do is I will first talk about a few important points from Biological Diversity Act, and then we'll move to steps about preparation of People's Biodiversity Register. So, what it is saying, every local body shall constitute a biodiversity management committee within its area for the purpose of promoting conservation, sustainable use, and documentation of biological diversity. It includes preservation of habitats, conservation of land races, folk varieties, and cultivars, domesticated stocks, and breeds of animals, also microorganisms, and chronicling of knowledge relating to biological diversity. Are you getting the point? Every local body, that is village, at a village level, at a taluka level, at a district level, you can constitute a PMC which has this kind of powers for conservation, for sustainable use, and documentation of biological in their jurisdiction. Then at a state level, we have state biodiversity boards, and at a national level, we have National Biodiversity Authority, which shall consult the BMC at a local body level while taking any decision relating to the use of biological resources and knowledge associated with such resources occurring within territorial jurisdiction of BMC. Interesting part is like BMC may levy charges of collection fees from any person for accessing or collecting any biological resource for commercial purposes from areas falling within its territorial jurisdiction. So these are few important points from Biological Diversity Act regarding BMC. There are some important points and rules for BMCs. I will only here I am just giving three important rules, which is directly related with the biodiversity register. So the main function of BMC is to prepare people's biodiversity register in consultation with local people. The register shall contain comprehensive information on availability and knowledge of local biological resources, their medicinal or any other use, or any other traditional knowledge associated with them. The People's Biodiversity Register shall be maintained and validated by the BMC, which is formed at local body level. The committee shall also maintain a register giving information about the details of the access to biological resources and traditional knowledge granted, details of the collection fee imposed, and details of the benefits derived and the mode of their sharing. Okay, so these are some important points related to biodiversity management committee and about preparation of people's biodiversity register. Before moving forward about how one can prepare a biodiversity register, I will just introduce you to this 5 Z. First Z is jungle, that is forest. one can get different kind of provisioning ecosystem services from forests, that is fuel wood, wild fruits, wild edible plants. It is also important for soil water conservation. Jala, that is water. One can have water for irrigation in agriculture fields. It is also important for livestock industry or animal husbandry. It is also important in different kind of industries. Zameen, that is third, you can call it as a land, and it is very important, and it is actually a platform where you can have a different kind of biological diversity, and it provides nutrients to plants, to animals, and to microflora. Janavar, this is the fourth j, that means it is animals and livestock. So you can have primary and secondary animal products from janavar. So you can get meat, egg, and you can have secondary products like gobar and gomutra from janavar. So these are four main natural resources which plays very important role in livelihood generation. And fifth one is very important, that is jana. And here I want to stress the point is we should consider ourselves as a part of nature, not the owner of nature or not the owner of natural resources, because we are totally, directly or indirectly dependent on all these four main zo or four main natural resources for livelihood. So if you say, oh, I am living in cities, so how I'm dependent on jungle? No. If you are living in Pune city, you know the importance of jungle. It plays a very very important role in soil water conservation. You are getting water from borewell, you are getting water from well, you are getting fresh water or drinking water from dams which is very nearby to Pune city. You are getting vegetables from agriculture fields which are surrounding the Pune cities. You are drinking milk every day, so that is from the livestock. Okay, so even if you are living in metropolitan city or you are living in village, you are totally dependent on this 4 so don't forget this 4 rule, and you are part of it. So now you can say it as a 5 rule. Now we'll move forward, and we'll briefly go through process of biodiversity register preparation. So first it is the documentation, and preliminary steps of documentation is identification of participants. So here I am giving example of preparation of village biodiversity register. You can identify participants as villagers. School children also forms a important participant group in data collection, data management, data analysis. You can also consider visitors and tourists as one of the participants which can contribute to your data. Traders are also plays an important role in biodiversity register preparation. Then you have to identify what kind of natural resources are present in and around village. You have also you have to identify different kind of users which are actually using natural resources either for personal benefits or either for commercial benefits. So these are some preliminary steps, and BMC can take help of knowledgeable individuals from village for identifying participants and natural resources in and surrounding village. Now documentation, before starting documentation process there are also two important steps. This data you can get from a secondary literature. You have to find out boundary of your village. You have to find out total area of the village. Also, you must look for different facilities which are available in the village, like communication facility, road facility, education facility, health facility, that you have to cover in this administrative information section. Then you also look for the social structure of the village, and it should cover different types of communities which are living in the village. You have to find out different skill sets of villagers, because these skill sets will give you an idea of their livelihood structure or livelihood pattern, and about the use of natural resources. Now documentation process begins. Map preparation is the very important step in preparation of biodiversity register. It gives you an opportunity to involve people in the whole process. This kind of activity can be done in school ground, in at grounds nearby religious places. You can also conduct this activity in at your administrative buildings. So here I am giving example of village. So while conducting map preparation activities, you must ensure that all age groups are there to contribute. Okay. Then while preparing map, first you have to identify different type of landscapes which you are having in the village. So here this is hypothetical village and hypothetical image and map. This is not to the scale map. So if you look at the different landscape elements, you are having dense forest as one of the element. You have a rocky plateau, you have grassy land, you have scrub, you have agriculture land. You can again classify this agriculture land into rain-fed agriculture, irrigated agriculture. You can have rice agriculture. You can have cash crop agriculture, that is नगदी पिके आपण ज्याला म्हणतो ते. You are having if you are having orchards or horticulture crops, that you can mention it as a different landscape element. So with the help of villagers only, you can identify different kinds of landscape element. Okay. And this human habitation or human settlement is also important landscape element. uh, After identifying landscape elements, you have to identify waterscape elements. So you have surface waterscape elements and you have ground waterscape elements. So rivers, streams, ponds, lakes, and if you are doing this survey in coastal areas, then sea is one of the important waterscape element. And groundwater waterscape elements are like wells, bore wells. So you have to mark all kind of important elements in these maps. It is okay if map is not to the scale, but people participation is must from all age groups and from all genders. Okay. Data collection. So this can be done by different methods. So you can conduct interviews, you can have one-to-one interaction, you can have focus group discussion, you can have just a casual get together and discussing some important facts of natural resources in surrounding area, from across age groups and with different uh, natural resources users. You have to collect ground level data collection, and for this you can take help of children, you can take help of youths for collecting ground level data. One must not forget to write down traditional knowledge associated with the natural resources which you are documenting. You can confirm a species scientific name with the help of master students from environmental science, biodiversity students. You can take help of botanist for identifying plants. You can also use GIS tools for identifying landscape, but it is not a mandatory thing that you must use GIS and RS for identifying landscape. So this is very optional. But yes, geographic location or GPS readings are must for PBR, because it will help you to identify important plants, threatened animal location, like that. This is very general format which I am giving here for collecting data. If you are looking for the plant of or if you are looking for the crops, animals, livestock, you have to write down the local name of that particular plant and animal. Then you can confirm scientific name. Okay. Here you also have to mention location in the village. Like if I am working on, okay, I'm documenting bamboo. So where it is found in the village, yes, I am having bamboo on my farm birds. So just write down, yes, bamboo is present on the farm birds. Okay. If I'm looking for mango trees and it is only present in orchards, so write down, yes, mango trees are present in the orchards. So location in the area, location in the village and in the surrounding area is very important. You have to ask your knowledgeable individuals about its population trend in last 10 years. You can also have documentation for different uses, whether it is edible, whether it is medicinal. You have to, if you have any particular method associated with the use, you can write it down, which is very many times it is a traditional knowledge. So there are some wild edible plants where we have to put these wild edible plants in the flowing stream for a few hours, and then you can use for making a vegetable from that plant. So these are some very traditional knowledge associated with the use of that animal or a plant. Harvesting period, yes, it is also important. It gives you an idea of traditions associated with the uh, particular plant. So if you are visiting tribal villages or in Sakura ranges, so it is believed that one must collect mahua flowers after Holi. Also, there are some rules about collection of medicinal plants. Many local medicinal practitioners collects tubers of medicinal plants after Bhadrapada or during Bhadrapada. I'm not sure about exact timing because it varies in different area. But basically, in post-monsoon season, they harvest such many tubers of medicinal plant species, or at least they locate all those medicinal plant species. Also, you can write down collection rights associated with the plants and animals. You can also write down any local level conservation methods which people are practicing. Nowadays, we are having a smartphone in remote villages as well. So it will be good if you have photo of that particular animal and plant. So this is very general and basic format which you can use for making biodiversity register. So, for a you can make biodiversity register for your township as well, because if you are interested, you can prepare biodiversity register for your society where you are living. Uh, you can also prepare biodiversity register for your schools, for your colleges. That will be very interesting activity we can give to school children in your in holidays. I think I'm running out of time. Okay. I quickly go through this. So this is a chart which is showing our relation. Our okay relation between festivals and biological diversity in surrounding area. So we have festivals which are very, very connected with the surrounding area, with the climate change, and with the availability of natural resources. So if you look at the some festivals, say Vata Purnima. So here we are worshipping one of the keystone species, that is ficus species. In Marathi, it is also known as Vadatse Zhad, and it is a very important species in the ecosystem. It provides shelters, it provides food to a wide range of animals, from birds to mammals to insects. Ganesh Chaturthi, we offer 21 types of leaves to Ganesha. Ultimately, you have to protect at least 21 type of species in your surrounding area. So how everything is linked and interrelated with each other is very, very interesting to see. And PBR will give you this opportunity to document such kind of traditions related with biodiversity conservation, related with the use of natural resources. So, what you can do with this data? Yes, you can identify a very sustainable use model for resources, livelihood generation, which ultimately reduces the migration to the cities. This is a very value addition product, and it will also help you to design conservation plan and restoration plan. And one must remember that PBR is a continuous process. It is not a fixed document. You have to update your PBR with the help of experts, with the help of knowledgeable individuals. So this is what I want to share about PBR and biodiversity of Western Ghats. Many legal norms are not covered in this presentation because it is out of scope of this presentation. Uh, you have to have series of, you can take series of lectures about PBR. So this is like tip of the iceberg. Now I will briefly talk about the career opportunities for biodiversity students, for environmental science students, or for careers in biodiversity. You can take biodiversity assessment projects for township, industrial area, private farm owners. You can also have your ecotourism business model and agrotourism business model. You can also take interest, if you have interest in education, you can also build your own models for environmental education. You can be a consultant to corporate social responsibility groups. You can also work as natural resources research consultant. NGOs working in, you can also contribute your research to NGOs working in sustainable development and livelihood generation. Okay, you can also have some experience as an auditor if you complete your course in environment management system ISO 14001 2015. So these are some important career opportunities in biodiversity, and this is what we have done and we are doing for biodiversity conservation. This is endemic and rare threatened species nursery. These are herbal plots in Pune city. So this is a picture taken in Bhima Shankar. This person is a local community member, and he himself has kept documentation of different kind of crop varieties which they are having in their own village. So you can also help such local communities for biodiversity documentation. Thank you, Purnam, for giving me these opportunities, and this is what I want to share. Now I will stop sharing my screen. If you have any questions, you can ask me via Tanvi, I think. So here I am.
So first of all, thank you so much, ma'am. This was a very nice presentation, and we have gone through very nice images and very fascinating and attractive images along with the information. We also saw some statistics. So overall, it was a very nice presentation, and we have also received some comments saying that it was a very informative and very nice session. So thank you for all this. And with your permission, I would like to start the question answer session.
Yes, yes, please.
So we have two questions regarding this topic.
Hmm.
So firstly, the question is there awareness about the biodiversity register all over Maharashtra, or only in rural areas where there needs to be, the register needs to be maintained? And secondly, is from Pune city. So is there any committee or any register maintained in Pune? So
Okay, I
these are
will
the two
first
questions.
answer your first question. No, people are not aware of this Biological Diversity Act and how this PBR are generated. There are some organizations which are helping local communities to prepare people's biodiversity registers. So in Palghar district, we have Vayam Trust who are actually generating awareness about biodiversity registers on ground. In Yojak, so Yojak is also helping many organizations for making people's biodiversity register. They are guiding different BMCs for PBR making. But yes, even after 18 years, people are not aware of PBR, and unfortunately, many scientists and many researchers never conducted any kind of awareness program for this biodiversity register. The second one is I am not sure about the Pune City Biodiversity Register status. Um, but I think we have BMC in Pune district, but I'm not sure about the status. Tanvi?
Okay, yes. So moving on to the next question. On 22nd May is International Day for Biological Diversity. That is, as we know it, Biodiversity Day. So what would you like to tell the viewers about it?
What I will say is you can have a small activity in your society or in your township where you are living, or in village, uh, where you can ask people to come and join, and let us start biodiversity register for societies. So that is the best thing which I can suggest for coming International Biodiversity Day. So it is you you can generate your biodiversity register at any level. So this is like a Nond Vahi, Jaiva Videta Nond Vahi.
Okay,
This
yes,
is the best way for celebrating International Biological Diversity Day,
right. Okay,
according to me.
yes, okay, absolutely.
Yes.
So, on behalf of Poonam's team, I thank you for associating with Poonam Ecovision Foundation and giving such a nice talk regarding this topic. This is a very vast topic, and combining it in just 50 minutes timing was a bit difficult task. But it was really a great session, and we are still receiving the comments. But as we are running out of time, so I request all the viewers to keep commenting your views and opinions or questions in the comment box under this video. And we shall convey your messages to our speaker, and your questions will be definitely answered by our speaker. So yes, so these sessions which we conduct are every Wednesday, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. These are multilingual sessions in English, Hindi, and Marathi. So we are going to continue these sessions, and we know that everyone is bored in this lockdown, but we have got your back. So keep watching these videos, and these are really informative videos with the speakers in which are expertise in these topics related to environment and waste management. So keep watching and stay tuned. And thank you so much, ma'am, and all the viewers. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you, Pranam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.